Humans have always been fascinated by the battle between tyranny and freedom. But let's be honest, are revolutions always about justice, or are they just a game of power where one side overthrows the other? In video games, we're handed guns, explosives, and righteous speeches, all in the name of fighting oppression. But if we did these same things in real life, would we still be called heroes? As you dive into these games, ask yourself, are you truly a freedom fighter, or just another cog in the never-ending machine of violence? Ah, Rico Rodriguez, the master of destruction. In Just Cause 3, you return to your homeland, Medici, now suffering under the rule of General Sebastiano di Ravello. But instead of real-world strategies like political negotiations or civil movements, this game hands you a grappling hook, a ton of explosives, and an unspoken mission. Turn the entire island into an action movie set. Sure, you're overthrowing a dictator, but if blowing up bridges, toppling statues, and reducing cities to rubble is your idea of liberation, maybe Medici needs a better plan for post-revolution recovery? Or are we just here for the explosions? Welcome to Yara, a beautiful island paradise ruled by a brutal dictator, Anton Castillo. As Donnie Rojas, you join the rebellion to overthrow this tyrant with makeshift weapons, guerrilla tactics, and the help of a crocodile in a vest because why not? Sounds noble, right? Until you realize that every Far Cry game follows the same formula. Overthrow the big bad, watch a new one rise. So, are you really changing the world, or just resetting the cycle for the next dictator in the making? Also, let's be honest, how many of us actually care about the revolution when we're too busy hijacking tanks and setting things on fire for fun?
Go put that come mierda down. Look like a vision out of Dante's Inferno.
Monsters did this.
Not monsters. Man.
Nothing sparks rebellion like the idea of Nazis ruling America. In Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, you play as BJ Blazkowicz, a one-man wrecking crew determined to free the US from fascist control. The game delivers intense action, wild sci-fi tech, and some surprisingly emotional storytelling. But let's pause for a second. If you strip away the alternate history and over-the-top action, Wolfenstein's story is basically about a violent insurgency, fighting against a government they refuse to recognize. Sound familiar? Maybe history isn't as black and white as we'd like it to be.
I got a nuke in this here fire extinguisher.
Yes, of course! That sounds so good.
The great and powerful king of Albion is dead. To one son, he leaves the crown.
This is my Albion. Its people will do as I say.
Fable 3 is an interesting twist on rebellion. You start as the underdog, fighting against your tyrannical older brother, gathering allies and rallying the people of Albion. Classic revolutionary tale, right? But here's the catch. After overthrowing the king, you become the ruler. And suddenly, making promises is a lot easier than keeping them. Will you be the benevolent leader everyone hoped for? Or will you become just another tyrant, proving that power always corrupts? The real question is, was your rebellion ever about justice? Or did you just want the throne for yourself?
And corrupt governments of old, we honor the arrival of our saviors from the stars who ushered in 2 decades.
Aliens have taken over Earth. The government has surrendered. Humanity is now ruled by an oppressive regime called Advent, which, surprise, surprise, claims to be making the world better. But you're leading XCOM, the underground resistance determined to take back the planet. Let's be real here. Your ragtag team of soldiers is constantly outgunned, outnumbered, and on the brink of annihilation. Your best strategy? Guerrilla warfare, sabotage, and risky high-stakes missions. Sounds thrilling, but if your rebellion fails, doesn't that just make you a bunch of well-armed troublemakers getting a lot of people killed? And what if the aliens actually were improving things? Have we ever considered negotiating? Nah, let's just shoot first.
Yesterday afternoon, KPA authorities raided the town of Montrose, Colorado.
This time, the US isn't the hero, it's the battlefield. In Homefront, North Korea, yes, you read that right, has successfully invaded America. The government has collapsed, and now the resistance is fighting to reclaim the country. It's an intense emotional experience, with guerrilla tactics and desperate survival moments. But let's flip the script. If a foreign superpower occupied another country, and the locals fought back using these same tactics, what would we call them? Freedom fighters or insurgents? Before there were guns and bombs, there were hidden blades and secret brotherhoods. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you play as Ezio Auditore, leading the fight against the corrupt Borgia family who rule Rome with an iron fist. Your methods? Assassinations, sabotage, and good old-fashioned intimidation. And while we cheer for Ezio's cause, let's be honest, how different are the assassins from the Templars they fight? Both want control, both manipulate the people, and both believe they're saving the world. So, is Ezio really a revolutionary? Or just another power-hungry ideologue?
It is good to see you, friend.
These games make us feel like heroes, like we're fighting for justice against corrupt regimes. But the real world isn't as simple as good versus evil. When one government falls, another takes its place. When one dictator is overthrown, someone else steps in. So, as you launch that next RPG, drop that airstrike, or assassinate another digital politician, ask yourself, are you actually changing the world? Or are you just another player in a never-ending cycle of rebellion and control? What do you think? Are these games about freedom? Or just another excuse to glorify destruction? Let's debate in the comments.